Mainstream geology is built on the concept of uniformitarianism, the belief that Earth's history is a slow, steady progression of sediment and biological change over vast eons. This framework is maintained by an academic establishment that filters out anomalous data. Their goal is to protect the gradualist narrative from any evidence that suggests a different timeline. But the rocks tell a different story. We find perfectly preserved, complete skeletons that require instant entombment. Slow burial would have allowed for decay. This requires immediate mineralization. This points toward a global flash freeze. To petrify soft tissue organisms like jellyfish and earthworms, the atmosphere itself must have collapsed, turning a living biosphere into solid stone in a matter of seconds. These technical glitches are scattered throughout the record. We have found fish fossilized while swallowing their prey, and even refined human tools embedded deep inside ancient coal seams. These anomalies occur with too much regularity to be dismissed as outliers. They indicate our official history is a decorative mask for a much more violent, cyclical reality. Consider the trilobite. Geologists label it an index fossil, using it as a biological clock to determine the age of the rock layer. The entire dating system relies on circular logic. The fossils are used to date the rocks, and the rocks are used to date the fossils. The polystrate tree highlights this contradiction. A fossil trunk stands vertically, cutting through multiple strata layers representing millions of years. A tree cannot remain unrotted for millions of years. This proves the layers were deposited simultaneously during a single massive event. If these layers formed in a week rather than an era, biological evolution has no time to occur. Complex life appears in the record instantly, which suggests the entire biosphere was deliberately introduced into the system by an outside hand. This engineered history follows a strict rhythm called the NER periods, a recurring 600-year cycle that governs the simulation's resets. The mechanism for this reset is the Phoenix weapon. It arrives on a fixed schedule, trailing red dust that turns the atmosphere a deep crimson while inducing global quakes and mudfloods. In 5239 BCE, the Nemesis cataclysm altered our reality permanently, sending Earth hurling toward our current sun, Sol. This suggests Earth is a holosphere, an interactive, three-tiered containment field designed to quarantine its inhabitants from the real universe. Even the moon was a strategic addition. Captured in 439 BCE, it functions as a hollow-out planetoid, an observation deck to monitor the human inmates. We exist in a managed environment. In this system, history is a looping program designed to keep the population in a state of amnesia and control. The engineers of this system are the Homo Annuna. They manufactured human life to serve as a slave workforce. This museum display shows the jump in biological quality. On the right is the Cro-Magnon, appearing suddenly with a much higher cranial capacity than the primitive Neanderthal. The Cro-Magnon race became a threat to the Anunnaki wardens once they realized their own spiritual immortality. They were too intelligent to remain imprisoned. To reclaim control, the Anunnaki used the Phoenix to scour the Cro-Magnon from the surface. They replaced them with modern humans, re-engineered with hard-coded tribalism and shorter lifespans to ensure we remained divided. This hard-coded division fuels the racial conflict and spiritual blindness we see today. These behaviors function as programmed subroutines, ensuring we never achieve the sentient leap that once made our predecessors a threat. The Great Pyramid of Giza acts as the central axis for this chronological map. It is the simulation's clock, anchored in the desert. The architecture encodes the system's schedule. Its dimensions and shaft alignments provide the specific orbital dates for the Phoenix and Nemesis objects. This 4,900-year-old prophecy uses the internal chambers to mark the recurring 600-year cycle, tracking the moments the system will trigger its next reset. The pyramid exists to ensure that the schedule of the simulation can be decoded, even during an age of widespread amnesia. According to this timeline, the next Phoenix reset is scheduled to occur on May 15th and 16th, 2040. The predicted event involves the sun darkening and a massive displacement of the Earth's crust. Coastal cities like New York and London will slide undersea as the oceans slip their basins. Following this, the 2046 return of the Nemesis X object is predicted to kill a third of the population and collapse time itself into a 240-day year. The system finally reaches its breaking point in 2078. This is the year of simulation collapse, the moment the containment field expires. By identifying the glitches in the fossil record and the ancient architecture, we can finally see the edges of our prison and prepare for the next protocol.